Hello everybody, welcome back to the cabin, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. I have an interesting topic today, and one that really might have a negative effect on my account in particular, but maybe some of yours out there as well. I want to talk about that and some really cool sales. I've managed to bump my ASP up a little bit, and I'm super excited about it. Let's take a look at these. You know, I had a bunch of folks tell me to just not list any Harley stuff. And I'm like, man, talk about folding. Talk about giving up. I've got a whole bin full of Harley stuff here. I bought a ton of Harley stuff the other day, and I thought, this isn't the kind of attitude we should have. We should kind of fight a little bit. And I'm glad that I'm still listing Harley stuff after that one being taken down and getting that suspension. This is a size medium Harley belt. I think it is anyways, make sure it is. And that one sold for $21.60 plus shipping. Now Pepper was in here and then she disappeared. Whoop, there she is right there. She must have been up in that cabinet right there. I sold an awesome pair of boots and I thought they were sitting here, but they're not. I've had some good luck with boots lately at good prices, and that doesn't happen a whole lot around here, although it happens from time to time. We're in boot country. But these right here were super good. I want to say I paid $10 for this pair of boots here. JB Dillon. It's Python, I believe. Let me just double check. You never know. Yep, that's what those are. That sold for $116 plus some change, plus shipping. And we're going to let the dog in, and we're going to do a couple of more sales. And then we're going to get to this topic, which is particularly concerning to me, maybe not to all of you, but I think it's at least worth hearing about. Here, let me walk around this way because the dog is behind me, following me, wants a treat. Musical Christmas bells. These sound pretty good, y'all, especially when they're all working. And this one was, I don't remember what I paid for it, but I know what it sold for, $41 plus shipping. I'm gonna make you work for it. Come on, get it. If you want it so bad. Sold a manual. This one's been hanging around a while. Pretty happy about this sale. Little Mercedes-Benz manual. 1963 to 68. That one sold for $40. I think plus shipping, but let me double check. Nope, $40. Free shipping, but it'll go out medium mail, so it'll be super cheap. One more and then the topic. We've got a Family Guy astronaut that's sold, and this one's from that great sale with Rod and Leroy and Mike. We haven't sold much in the last few weeks. I'm gonna have to dig through this and find it. Took a little while, but we found it. It is series, what is this series? I don't even know what series that is. Series 3 maybe? That astronaut with the cowboy hat right there. Secret Agent Astronaut Millionaire Peter. Sold for $35 plus shipping. All right, y'all, if you have watched this show for any length of time at all, you've probably heard me ask viewers when they buy something if they'd be so kind as to put a message that they want me to read in the actual purchase as opposed to in the messaging system. And that comes from two reasons. It comes from just sheer time in sifting through all of the eBay messages. I'm trying to get to the ones on the messaging system, not on the actual purchase. There's a section in the purchase where you can send a note to the seller, and those appear on my screen. It makes it a lot easier for me because there are just tons and tons of messages in the eBay messaging system. Not only eBay messages from eBay themselves, from potential buyers, from people who have already bought something, but from viewers. There's a ton. I get a ton of messages from viewers that have nothing to do with the product that they're messaging on. And I've always kind of tiptoed around this because I don't want to sound like I'm not thankful. I think there was 2 viewer sales today, and I am very thankful. But there's another reason why I've done this, and it goes way back years. I can't remember, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when eBay was testing a system and grading you essentially on how quickly you responded to things. And for me, timing wasn't even really the issue. It was whether or not I was going to respond at all. You know, when I get messages on Instagram, a lot of times I'll respond. Somebody says, you know, hey, could you check out this item or do this or do that? When I get people asking me to, you know, check out their store and give me tips on this on eBay, sometimes you get into some trouble. Especially, you know, somebody asks me for an address and I give them my address to ship something to or whatever. I try not to do that stuff on the eBay platform at all. And it didn't happen very much till Facebook just got massive, and then the folks over on Facebook were starting to do it. But the other reason, I just didn't respond at all to a lot of messages like that on eBay. And I was a little afraid back then, a few years back, that it might have a negative effect on my account. But this here scares me a little bit, not tremendously, but a little bit. Now, a lot of this stuff is from the eBay message boards here. And keep in mind that I'm not somebody to completely trash eBay all the time. That's not me at all. eBay has a lot of different people and places and things and entities pulling them in different directions. And one that is extremely important is buyer satisfaction. There's no doubt about that. And I don't fault eBay for focusing on the buyer's experience at all. They've got a whole team focusing on buyer experience. Of course, being a seller, and most of you out there are sellers, we would hope that they would focus on us a little bit too, and maybe a lot more than they have in the past few years. But this one's about buyers and buyers' experiences, and how that particular team is trying to give them a better buyer experience by grading us on response time. And this is not a feature that's been rolled out. Matter of fact, I don't even think it was even announced here. eBay Buyer Experience team is responding here to some people in the message boards. eBay is displaying how long it takes a seller to respond to customer inquiries. And I think this is like a test, right? I haven't seen any of this on my account yet. I don't know, maybe you have. This week, a product manager from eBay's buyer experience team responded to questions in a thread on the eBay discussion board. And by the way, thank you to the viewer that pointed this out to me. And they pointed it out because I talk about how many messages I get on eBay that are unrelated to an item. So thank you to you out there. I don't know, you didn't tell me I could mention your name, so I'm not. But anyway, let me read a few more things. This says here that eBay is testing the new feature with a subset of buyers, so not everybody. They're testing it at this point to help us understand if it helps increase sales for our sellers and trust in the platform. The product manager says that eBay calculates the signal based, meaning here's the signal. So the prompt shows up to a buyer and says that the seller usually responds. I think this said that the person who was saying this was happening to them said that the buyer will respond, but I don't think that's the case. The seller usually responds within this time frame. So this signal is based on data over the last 12 months and provided the following details. Seller has received at least one question and answered 60% of questions over the last 12 months. Only the first question and response in each conversation, so not responding to a follow-up question or a thank you very much response from eBay, would not be factored into this calculation. The result is rounded up to the nearest bucket for the first 7 signals mentioned above. The eBay product manager denied eBay had any plans to add response time as a criterion to qualify as a top-rated seller, and they mention here that Etsy requires sellers to respond within 24 hours if they're a star seller, which I think is interesting. Now, what they didn't mention here is, does this factor in any way into their mysterious algorithm, which, you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to say I understand or know any of this stuff, and most people don't. But that is a concern to me because there are many, many messages. The majority of messages I get, because I get just a multitude of messages every day that I don't even respond to at all on there. I try to respond to everyone that has to do with an item that I'm selling or an item that I sold. And I try to be polite to viewers that are asking relevant questions to my store. I want to keep talking about this topic for a minute, but I got to pull some orders too, so we'll grab a couple real quick. This is a set of 4 1998 comic books. I guess they're comic books. Viz Comics for Pokemon. And this is all pure profit. We finally passed the break-even point on all the Pokemon stuff we bought, as well as a Nintendo 64 bag that's worth a decent amount of money, so we're doing pretty good here. These 4 sold for $35 plus shipping. By the way, these will ship in this right here I get from my... Boy, we're almost to Q4, y'all. it's almost time to get your free supplies and a few other things I got to talk about. But this one will ship nicely right in there. It will not go medium mail because it's got advertising on it, and the advertising is kind of cool, by the way. And it's not a bad little profit, but I wanted to thank somebody really quick, Scott, for buying plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over on CommonwealthPicker.com. The next item is an item I've never sold before, and that's saying something. I've been doing this a while. See if I can find it here. A lot of times I'll pre-dig something out if I know it's at the bottom, but this one I don't think was. That's it right there. And this is a Betsy Johnson bag. So, ladies, some of y'all know that name out there. I was never aware of that name before. The other day, and I picked it up at a sale, which I don't think is aired yet. And I looked it up, I'm like, dang. And I paid up a little for these because they were new to the tags, and the lady knew. I can't remember if I paid $5. I might have paid $10 even, but I don't think I did, but who knows. Over 40 bucks, 41 bucks, something like that, $40. Let me look. 40 bucks. That's not bad. I'll take it. It's not a huge profit if I paid 10 though, because it's free ship. It will be pretty inexpensive to ship because it's really light. So it's probably close to a $20 profit if I paid 10 bucks on it. I gotta run inside and grab the next item, so I thought I'd say this really quick before I do. Let me know what you think of that. You know, we always want eBay to have a good relationship with us. We want them to treat us right, but I think most of us as sellers also realize that it is paramount to also have trust in the system for the multitude of buyers out there. I don't know if this is all that important, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know if they'll ever roll it out, you know, full scale for everybody. I'm not sure it's the hugest deal in the world, but it is interesting that they have a whole team dedicated to buyer's experience, which they should. I hope they have a whole team dedicated to seller experience. My guess is that they do. Well, it wasn't inside, and it's pretty big, so it should be up here. I bet that's it back there. Yep, that's it back there. It's going to take me a minute to unload this. All right, I dug it out right here. Outdoor TV antenna, high definition television, sensor antenna for your RV or camper. I bought something else that was for an RV or camper. This is what I would normally stay away from. I don't normally buy this kind of stuff. But because I was waiting on the price for that thing, I took a chance to look this up, and I'm like, dang, that's not bad. And it sold for 50 bucks plus shipping. Had to go in and grab this Seminole jersey, Florida State Coliseum Seminole jersey. And I sold this, and I sold another Florida State item. One, they're both to different people. That one sold for $29 plus shipping. And then the other one, I probably should have looked, sold for $35 plus shipping. I might have them backwards, actually. Might have to look. But either way, it's still $64 headed out the door. And you might wonder why I have some Seminole stuff in here, some clothes in here and some in there. If it's new, if it's in a bag or something, we'll put them in here. If it's not, we'll hang it up and put it inside. There is a method to the madness. Let me get the right stuff. This is $19.99, so this is vintage, but it is double stitched. It's Nike, size medium, which is a good name, obviously. Well, I know my wife's not home because this dog keeps coming back in here instead of snuggling with her, huh? For the record, it's $29 plus shipping for the jersey and $35 plus shipping for the t-shirt. Hey, one thing that I am guilty of, and if a lot of you are honest out there, I don't know, maybe not, maybe I'm just guilty of this, is when you get those questions that are just ridiculous. I know the buyer's always right, but sometimes I don't even want to sell to some buyers because if they ask a question, a certain type of question in a certain way, I think to myself, do I really want this person to buy it? Because I'm going to have to deal with something later. I just know I am. And so sometimes I just don't even respond to dumb questions. And sorry, some of the questions are dumb. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but let me tell you, if you've been selling on eBay for any length of time at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Let me find some shoes back here. I'm going to have to dig these out, I think. All right, I dug them out with Wallen's, I'd like to say help, but that's not the case. These right here, I don't even know what they are. Court Force, sold for $40 plus shipping. I just let the dog out and I traded him for a cat. Slightly off topic, but kind of on topic. I just was thinking about them. I was digging out those shoes there. What are the questions that annoy you the most? Is it the one, what size, give me the dimensions, and of course you've already put it in the pictures or it's in the description or something. Is there a particular kind of question, especially if you're a niche down seller, you get all the time that you get tired of? Another side topic here. For those of you who said, you should stop listing Harley stuff altogether, where does that end? Does it end here? There's a lot of people who make a lot of money lawfully with private property rights on Nike shoes, for goodness sake. Where does it end? Does a company have to go out of business before you can sell it if that's the way you think? So, I'm not being critical here, and I'm not being critical of people who said that, but it is an issue. And at some point, we got to stand up and say, hey, enough's enough. When we're in the right. We don't have the right to sell stuff that's counterfeited and all that stuff, but you can't use intellectual property rights the wrong way, like pictures. Where is this thing? It's a Garfield. There it is, right there. This one went to a viewer, and it does not have a new battery in it, but it is pretty cool. Can y'all see that? Eating pizza. My wife loves Garfield. And I feel like Pepper is a black Garfield, just always begging for treats. Sandra, thank you so much. I love Garfield and I love your videos. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. It sold for $11 plus shipping. We've still got about 5 more sales, maybe 6, but I wanted to point this out, and big congrats to Dave and Carrie, their 100th episode, Trash to Cash's 100th episode. I started on episode 14, so they deserve a lot of, well, it just disappeared. And it made me rethink what I was going to say. They don't deserve any credit unless the credit is wasting a whole bunch of resellers' time, which is what we do on Trash Cash Podcast. Hopefully, for those strange ones of you out there who enjoy that podcast, it's been a pleasure to work with these guys. 100 episodes of a podcast is pretty impressive. So big props to them, and thank you to everybody who spends an hour and a half with it. Hopefully you're getting something productive done instead of listening to this nonsense. But I truly do enjoy their friendship and the podcast. Speaking of Dave and Carrie, and a whole bunch of other people will be at the Reseller Rally in Cincinnati on the 30th and the night before the pre-party. Talked to John today, and there are single-digit tickets still available. If you go to CommonwealthPicker.com, scroll to upcoming events. Check this one out. Made in the USA, vintage Tennessee shirt, sweatshirt. Got an issue here, but you just can't find this stuff. And this is part of one of the best vintage buys I've ever had. If not, it was the best. And I've had a few good ones. Paid less than $0.25 a piece at that sale, and that one sold for $22 plus shipping. It is clearly the season for college football, and that stuff's flying out of here. Tell me what's flying out of your store, if anything is flying out of your store. Let's hope there is. And this is the second viewer sale of the day. Hi, Kevin. I'm so excited to have finally won the Inaman auction. There you go. And we're doing less of them, obviously, because we're pulling from our little decorative stashes. I have one there, I have one there, and I have one little one left inside as well. And he says, especially before they're all gone, my husband and I are big fans of your videos and have helped us, and you have helped us learn so much about reselling. God bless you and your family. So, Taylor Triggy Treasures. I like that. Thank you so much, and I hope he gets things moving for you. Alright, y'all, I got Reagan here in some ridiculous getup. What in the world are you dressed like that
Tacky
for?
Tourist Tuesday.
Tacky Tourist
Fanny pack? Tacky.
Tuesday.
I'm just kidding.
Tacky. That's some getup right there, let me tell you. At gymnastics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright.
I had socks and sandals.
Okay. Do you have any sales that come up there?
Will got an Enema Man.
Got an Enema Man, and we're getting low on those too, which is really awesome. You just look ridiculous. Come over here real quick. So I can't get your mom to come down here and help me ship, and I was going to have her give this away and talk about My Go2 Tape and how she likes it. But she's not coming down here. So.
Is it in here?
And Turner's not here today, so we got no Commonwealth comedy, baby.
Is the tape? Oh, it is. Yeah. This is why it's my favorite.
That's right.
This is. I don't use any other tape gun. That one bad. This one.
We're gonna give away this right here. What should they put in the comments? This is from Joel, American Bubble Boy. My Go2 Tape. Code Commonwealth if you want 5% off. There's different sizes and all kinds of stuff, but this is the one we use. And what should they put in the comments? Stuck on you? That's
Tacky.
a great song. What, Tacky? All right, put Tacky in the comments.
Tacky tape.
Tacky, that's funny because it's
Tacky
tacky.
tape.
I like it. So put Tacky in the comments to get a chance to win a 6-pack of My Go2 Tape. And give it a shot if you haven't already. Joel is an awesome guy, honest businessman. And go there and check it out. Code Commonwealth, American Bubble Boy. There's always a link below. And that's going to go to somebody today.
Bye, and don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
Speaking of the reseller rally, me and my wife are going to be there. Me and my wife are also going to be at the Boss Reseller Remix in Vegas in October. And you can check those out either virtually or live. The tickets, you can also find them over there at CommonwealthPicker.com. Upcoming events. I'm actually a speaker. I have an interesting topic that I can't wait to talk about. It's not something I've talked about on this channel before. I think this is right. This is vintage Christmas sheet music, and it's got some Bing Crosby in here too, I think, and some other stuff. And it's obviously not in great shape, but a lot of this stuff is hard to find as well. So for $19 plus shipping. Y'all, we go to the beach once a year. This year I had to go twice. I like the beach, but I don't like being on the beach when it's all hot. But my wife loves it, so I go. And when we go the first time, we go with my in-laws. And every time we go, we take one trip down to the outlets. And me and Turner look at the 2 shops we like. And then we go to the Disney store to see if we can find anything to resell. I think this is it. There's only one stitch, so I think this is it. And we make a little bit of money that my wife and my daughter are spending. I shouldn't say that. They really don't spend very much. And this year I bought some ornaments. This year they must have just put them out because there was a ton of people in that store just looking at just this one section of ornaments. And I could only find one Lilo and Stitch. They were like $2 or something, just stupid cheap. And I grabbed this one, but I would have grabbed 50 of them if I could. And see Lilo and Stitch in there, y'all. It's not selling for, it's sold for $25 free shipping. But even at that, we're close to a $15 profit on that item right there. So if I could have got a ton of them, I would. I did get some other ones, some rescuers, and I think a few other things. So we should do okay on them. Christmas is coming, y'all. Look, Christmas sale, Christmas sale, Christmas sale. Sold a centipede. This was like an opportunity buy the other day. I was looking at a ton of Harley stuff, like huge 4XL, 5XL stuff. And I almost forgot to look at the other stuff because I was finding so many great deals. And I'm like, well, I saw these sitting over there. This is a little vintage centipede. And it was like $1. And I'm like, well, I'll buy that. It's got to be worth at least $1. Sold for $15.99 plus shipping. And I was looking at that real quick. And I came over here and somebody used a coupon. Which, by the way, if you ever want to buy something, just code Commonwealth on my eBay store, get you 5% off. But I recognize the name Christina. So Christina, thank you for this. I really do appreciate it. And for everybody who buys from us out there. But it got me thinking about something else that we do over on the Trash to Cash Facebook group. Once a month, people can drop their store links in there. And I think I'd like to talk about this more as Q4 starts and talking about buying things that you would already buy from somebody who is an eBay reseller. You know, I personally don't think eBay markets enough in Q4, and not necessarily even the right way, but you know, that's just my opinion. I don't know all the numbers and all the stuff goes with it, but you know, last year I said, hey, hashtag check eBay first, right? And I think for most of us who are eBay resellers, if you're looking to buy something, especially if it's vintage, you know, go and look on eBay first before you buy somewhere else, and maybe you can buy it from just an everyday reseller out there. I think that's a terrific way to support each other in Q4 as it gets closer. And, you know, buy vintage. Maybe start hashtagging. We can do eBay's advertising for them. You know, all across social media, check eBay first or buy vintage. I think it's a good way to support each other when we can. And I know I make a little Christmas list for the kids, and I always buy something vintage for them, something old, something used. And I always go, or at least I did last year, and I let people in the comments as Q4 starts, if I mention an item that my kids want or what they might want, to drop your link. Obviously, I can't buy from everybody, but if you have a particular item that I mentioned, I'll go in there and I'll buy it, or I'll check the Trash to Cash Facebook group. It's just one way we can support each other. You guys give me so much support. I'd like to at least spread that around a little bit. All right, y'all, I wanted to show you something real quick. Actually, I threw away the bubble wrap, but Tim, over the years, is the most amazing packager of all time. Check it out. This is going to be in our September 30th St. Jude auction. He did a video about packaging it up, and my wife bought this off of him the other day, but let me get my little black light. Maybe you'll bid on that charity auction. Check it out. He's kind enough to send this to us for that September 30th St. Jude auction. Already has bids over there. If you guys wouldn't mind going over doing 2 favors for me. September 30th at the Reseller Rally. A ton of creators have donated for this excellent cause. Tim's one of them. And my wife bought this from him. He is an expert in glass. Did you...
To keep my whiskey in.
Oh, jeez. At any rate, he's going to have a glass show right after ours. So if you already bookmark over there for our St. Jude charity auction, tons of folks are going to be live there and have donated. And then go ahead and go bookmark his show as well. He's going to have some awesome stuff starting at $1. And he doesn't care what it is. He's just going to start it off really cheap. So how much you spent on that? I don't. None yet. Okay. All right. But Tim's a super nice guy. And
thank you, Tim.
Yep. And he packages stuff up ridiculously
who's also super nice? His wife, Josie.
That's right. Thank you. All right, y'all. I'd like to end this show out in the other shed, but it's raining outside. I don't want to go out there and mess up my shoes in the rain. So, at any rate, thank y'all for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next.